Hi, this is Dennis from the Blue Collar Worker, as in I am the Blue Collar Worker and all that. And as you can see, I'm laying on the floor. Laying on the floor because I'm bloody tired. I was meant to put together something for Thursday and it's now Friday and it's not done. There's kind of a reason for that because apart from my dog deciding he wants to say hello, thank you very much for interrupting. See, the thing is, somebody needs to explain this to me because I genuinely think I've lost my mind. I have spent the last 3 days looking into Britain's energy situation, and the more I look, less it makes sense. Just bear with me for a minute, alright? Okay. We have oil underneath the North Sea. Nobody argues that. Norway drills said oil. Nobody argues that. They then put it on a tanker. The tanker burns fuel. The tanker sails across the sea. Nobody argues that. And then we buy the oil back from ourselves at a higher price. Now, I may be some kind of blithering idiot, but something there is not sitting right. Because I'm not an oil expert, I'm not an economist. I'm just a bloke trying to work out how that is supposed to help anybody. So here's the thing. The more I looked into it, the weirder it got. Because this isn't just about oil. Now that's just what's going to throw you. It's about energy. It's about jobs. It's about investment. It's why Britain seems to make everything harder than it needs to be. So, today, this episode, we're going to follow this rabbit hole all the way down. You're going to end up where I am, on the floor, comatose. And by the time we're finished, and I meant that in a good way, I think you'll understand why your energy bill, your food bill, your local businesses, and even your community are all connected to one simple question. You ready, guys? Why are we buying back the things we already have? Duh! So here I am, a bit wet now because said dog, trying to give him a bath, did not go quite to plan. So let's go to our next stage. The discovery. My discovery. So naturally I thought there must be a reason. Nobody can be this stupid. Surely there's something I'm missing. There's got to be some sort of logical explanation. So I started digging. And that's when I discovered this isn't really an oil problem, it's a policy problem. Because the oil is there. The technology exists. The expertise exists. The workers exist. The companies exist. So what's stopping it? What is stopping it? Well, let's start with the first thing, of course, tax. Ugh. Now and again, somebody, correct me if I'm wrong here, but when companies start looking at North Sea projects, they're looking at tax burdens that can reach incredibly high levels. So put yourself in their shoes for a minute. You've got billions of pounds to invest. You've got shareholders demanding returns. You've got projects all around the world competing for your money. Then somebody says, come and invest here. We'll tax the hell out of you, wrap you in paperwork, delay everything, and make you wait years for approvals. So what do you think they're going to do? Yeah, we know it. They're going to take their money somewhere else. And before anybody starts shouting, I'm not saying that I like it. It's the opposite. I'm saying that's reality. Money moves, investment moves, industry moves. And if you make something difficult enough, eventually people stop doing it. This isn't rocket science, is it? So anyway, in my deep dive, I found something else, and that is the red tape. Now, honestly, I think half the country knows what red tape feels like. Try building something, opening something, expanding something, getting permission for something. Forms, applications, consultations, assessments, reviews, appeals, and another form. And before you know it, years have gone by. Nothing has been built. Nothing has been produced. Nothing has been improved. But everybody involved can proudly tell you they followed procedure. I wrote a story about this, a fable. I put it on the website of Reform. If you go on Reform Godalming and Ash website, you will find a story called The Bridge. This is what that's about. See, here's where it gets interesting. Because the more I looked, the more I kept finding exactly the same pattern. Energy, same problem. Manufacturing, same problem. Infrastructure, same problem. Investment, same problem. We keep saying we want growth. Then we make growth as difficult as humanly possible. And that's when I realised something. This isn't really about oil at all. Because oil is just the symptom. The real problem sits underneath everything. So like everyone else, I'm sweltering a little bit. So let's try and get going again. So this is where I would consider things as the consequences. Because let's forget about oil again for a minute. Forget politicians, forget regulations, forget the arguments. Why should you care? Because energy isn't just another industry. Energy sits underneath every single thing you do. Every single thing. When energy goes up, factories pay more. Warehouses pay more. Hauliers pay more. I'm a truck driver, I know. Farmers pay more. Supermarkets pay more. Small businesses, that's what I was trying to get. Small businesses, they pay more. Then guess who pays more? You do. Every time you walk into a shop. Every time you pay your electric bill. Every time you fill your car. Every time you order something online. Every time your local pub raises prices. Every time your favourite takeaway adds another £1 onto the menu. That's energy. Most people think inflation is some mysterious thing economists talk about on TV. It's not. It's real. It's in your shopping basket. It's in your heating bill. It's in your mortgage. It's your rent. It's your wages not going as far as they used to. And here's the bit nobody seems willing to say out loud. When energy becomes expensive, everything becomes expensive. Everything. Now think about your local high street. How many empty shops are there? How many businesses have disappeared? How many people do you know who are struggling to keep their heads above water? How many young people have given up trying to get ahead? How many people have stopped dreaming about owning a home because they're too busy surviving? This is where it all joins together, because when energy costs rise, businesses stop investing. When businesses stop investing, jobs stop appearing. When jobs stop appearing, communities start shrinking. When communities start shrinking, hope starts disappearing. And before somebody says, it's only oil. No, it isn't. Oil is just the first domino. knock over the first domino, then the next one falls, then the next, and then the next, until eventually the entire economy feels it. And that's when something clicked for me. What we'll talk about here isn't really an energy policy. It's a prosperity policy. It's a question of whether Britain wants to produce things or simply buy things. Whether we want to build things or import things. Whether we want to create wealth or simply redistribute what's left. See, once I realised that, I started seeing the exact same pattern everywhere. Not just energy, fishing, manufacturing, industry, investment, infrastructure. The same pattern over and over and over again. Now do you see why I ended up on the floor in a complete heap? This does your brain in, because there's a bigger pattern at play. A bigger pattern. Now, I promised you the bigger pattern. And this is where things got really interesting. Because once I'd seen it in energy, I couldn't stop seeing it everywhere else. The exact same pattern. Different industry, same story. Take fishing. We're an island nation. An island. Surrounded by water. Surrounded by fish. And yet somehow our fishermen are constantly talking about quotas, restrictions, access agreements, and shrinking opportunities. Again. Maybe I'm missing something, but if you've got fish, why aren't your fishermen prospering? Then look at manufacturing. Once upon a time, Britain made things. We built ships, engines, machinery, steel, technology. Today, we often seem more interested in regulating production than producing, more interested in managing decline than creating growth. I even wrote a whole article on managing decline. Then look at infrastructure. Want to build something? Good luck. Planning permissions, consultations, reviews, objections, delays, years pass, costs rise, projects stall. Everybody shrugs. And then we wonder why nothing gets built. Then there's investment. This is the one people really don't like talking about, because the moment you mention investors, half the room rolls their eyes. I get it. Nobody likes cronyism. Nobody likes corruption. Nobody likes people getting rich while everybody else struggles. Neither do I. Neither do I. But here's the question. If you want new factories, who pays for them? If you want new infrastructure, who funds it? If you want new technology, who invests in it? The money has to come from somewhere. And that's when I realised what keeps happening. We say we want growth. We say we want jobs. We say we want investment. Then we spend all our time attacking the very mechanisms that create them, again and again. And before anybody starts screaming, I'm not saying give anybody a free pass. Accountability matters. Transparency matters. Responsibility matters. Of course they do. But if you create an environment where nobody wants to invest, nobody invests. It's not ideology, it's gravity. It's just how the world works. See, and suddenly what I realised is this isn't really about oil or fish or regulations or investors or even energy. It's about something much simpler. Have we made Britain easy to build in or difficult to build in? I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? But I mean, once upon a time, this country did something extraordinary. We looked at problems and built solutions. We invented, we engineered, we experimented. We took risks. We built industries that changed the world. That's what the Industrial Revolution really was. It wasn't coal. It wasn't steam. It was confidence. Confidence that tomorrow could be better than today. And somewhere along the line, I think we've lost a bit of that. Not all of it, but enough that we're now spending more time talking about managing decline than creating growth. And that's why I think we need something new. Not the old Industrial Revolution, a modern one. Modern technology, modern energy, modern manufacturing, modern engineering. But exactly the same spirit. So, begs the question, doesn't it? So what do we actually do? Okay then. So, what do we actually do? Not fantasy, not utopia, not overnight miracles. Practical. Well, a solution. Right? Enough complaining, enough pointing fingers, enough telling everybody what's wrong. What do we actually do about it? Well, first, we stop treating growth like a dirty word, because somewhere along the line, we convinced ourselves that profit is bad, industry is bad, investment is bad. And then we're shocked when nothing gets built. Wealth isn't the enemy. Poverty is, stagnation is, decline is. That's the thing we should be fighting. So the first thing we do, we make Britain easier to build in again. Not lawless, not reckless, easier. If a company wants to build something useful, it shouldn't take years, should it? If somebody wants to invest, they shouldn't need a legal team the size of a football squad. If somebody wants to create jobs, government should be helping to remove the obstacles, not creating new ones. Second, energy. We need more of it. A lot more. Cheaper. More reliable. More secure. I mean, it's not controversial, is it? It's common sense. Use what we have. Develop what we have. Improve what we have. And while we're doing that, invest heavily in what comes next. Because here's the thing. I don't think it's fossil fuels or renewables. I think it's fossil fuels and renewables. Yeah. I think today's solutions funding tomorrow's solutions. That's how adults solve problems. So fossil fuels are not a dirty word. You need them while you're developing the renewables. Let's do it properly for once. Third, skills. We need builders, engineers, electricians, technicians, manufacturers, designers, inventors, makers. The next industrial revolution isn't going to be built by hashtags. It's going to be built by skilled people, doing skilled work, creating skilled industries. Fourth, investment. And this is where people get uncomfortable. Because whenever somebody becomes successful, their first instinct seems to be, how do we punish them? Wrong question. The question should be, how do we get them investing here? Because if a billionaire builds a factory, hundreds of people work there. Suppliers benefit, local businesses benefit, entire communities benefit. That's the ripple effect. But here's the deal. If we're asking society to support growth, then growth must support society. Fair wages, skills training, research and development, innovation, and accountability. That's the partnership. And finally, we stop waiting for somebody else to save us. Because this is where I think we've got it wrong. Everybody's waiting for Westminster, waiting for councils, waiting for government, waiting for somebody somewhere to fix everything. But that's not how strong countries are built. The strong countries are built from the ground up. Blue collar worker, strong families, strong communities, strong businesses, strong local economies, all supporting each other. That's what made Britain successful the first time. And that's what will make Britain successful again. Not endless arguments, not endless bureaucracy, not endless decline. Building, creating, investing, which then becomes producing, moving forward. Now remember, in some ways I'm some bloke investigating a problem, but I am the blue collar worker. I've spent 20-30 minutes taking you through some kind of journey, explaining something. Now remember why you've listened to me. It's not politics, not parties, it's not statistics, values. At the end of the day, this was never really about oil. It wasn't about tax. It wasn't about regulations. It wasn't even about energy. Those are examples. What this is really about is whether we've still got faith in ourselves, whether we still believe we can build things, whether we still believe tomorrow can be better than today, whether we still believe ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things when given the chance, because that's what built this country, not governments, not politicians, not committees, people. Ordinary people, builders, engineers, factory workers, fishermen, tradesmen, shop owners, mothers, fathers, grandparents, communities, people who got up every morning, went to work, looked after their families, helped their neighbours, and left things better than they found them. That's the spirit that built Britain. And if we're honest, it's still here. It never left. It's just waiting to be unleashed again. Go outside. Listen to the breeze. Britain's heart is still beating, but it's faint. But I can hear it on that breeze. It's still there. So even though it's weak and thready, it is just waiting to be unleashed again. So whether you're watching this from a city, a town, a village, whether you're left, whether you're right, or somewhere in the middle, ask yourself one simple question. Are we making it easier for good people to build good lives? Or harder? Because if the answer is harder, then maybe it's time we started changing that. Not through anger, not through division, not by turning on each other, by remembering what actually matters. Family, community, country, in that order. Strong roots, strong trunk, strong branches. That's how a tree survives. That's how a nation survives. I am the blue collar worker. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Let's start building again.